Good afternoon, lads and lasses of the Waaagh and everybody else in the Warhammer community. We are starting a new Ork science series today, and it is going to be called Orkology, the science behind the Waaagh. Now, we are going to explain why orcs do what they do and how it kind of ties in to actual science in the real world. Now, in my color theory videos that we talked about the orcs and color, I got a lot of comments where people were like, well, you're speaking about the orcs as if they see color the same way as human beings do. Fair. Very valid point. That said, for the sake of this, to be able to connect it to us in a way that we understand, I am going to speak to orcs as biological creatures, as humanoid biological creatures who may have some connection to us in that way, right? We know that animals react to certain things the same way that humans do, et cetera, et cetera. There may be some differences. You don't see that in the books, right? They're very humanoid in the books, and they were written and designed by human beings to be a part of the Warhammer 40K universe. And in order for them to be relatable enough to where we could connect with them in some way, they're going to have some traits that are kind of human, right? They use language. They have a brain, they walk on two legs, they're biological, they're still fungoid, but they were designed this way, right? So we're going to, for the sake of this segment, assume that a lot of the ways that they react as a species, right, who's still going through evolution again, that they're going to have similar traits to human beings. So just bear with me on that, okay? In order for me to explain orcs with regular Humy science here in 2026, I do have to kind of connect them to human beings. But because they were written and designed by human beings, right, this stuff all plays a part in that design of these creatures, right? Now, orcs in Warhammer 40K, again, they're biological and fungal. They're very interesting. They're a neat makeup of orc. But if you look at orcs throughout all other fantasy, right, most of them reproduce. Most of them are more biological. They're very close to humans, just kind of like dwarves and elves are close to humans, but slightly different. That's kind of the take I'm taking on this. Whether you like it or not, that's your decision. That's your choice. That's your prerogative. That's okay. Feel free to question me on this stuff. I'm just trying to kind of connect them more, and so that people understand that actually the things that orcs do are more like a primal human being in a lot of ways. And why does this all make sense? Because it does. When you dive in deep to the orcs, to what they do, and you start thinking about why they do it that way, you realize they're a lot more intelligent than they put themselves out there to be, especially for those of you who are invested in the Imperium side of things, right? We know from books like Catachan Devil that the Imperium will create falsehoods, right, about the orcs to try to keep the morale high, right? They tell the Scardi, right? They're like, oh, they look strong, but they're not. And the Scardi infantry is like, they are strong. Do not believe what they're telling you in these videos. It's propaganda, right? We can't necessarily believe everything the Imperium says about the orcs, which is why I like to read the books from the orcs' perspective so that we can tie them in. And when you connect it like that, when you read it from both sides like that, you start to realize that these are actually very terrifying creatures. They are definitely the comic relief of the 40K universe, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily stupid, and that doesn't mean that there isn't a purpose to everything that they do that actually makes sense. So I'm going to be talking about this in this new series, Orkology, the science behind the Waaagh, and I'm really excited to get to discuss this with you guys and get more people excited about the orcs. For everyone who's watched my videos, commented, reacted, shared, for all of you who are really interested in all of the stuff I've had to say, thank you so much again for all of your support. For my haters out there, I love you too, my friends. And every time that you react or comment, whether it's positive or negative, you're still giving me clout. So thank you so much. Anyway, we're gonna get started. The first video is coming out today. Why orcs love noise so much.